I am so happy to have my guest, who's a very free-thinking woman. And, while I'm a rules coach, I'm also all about women living the life they wish to live. And thankfully, there were women before us, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg et al., that all the women before us have helped pave the way for what we are able to do now and for our complete freedom as women to live freely, to do what we wish, to make choices and have choices. We are so lucky that we have the birth control we have to be able to manage our reproduction, etc. And while I always give my honest take on the effects on the male brain and possibilities for complete commitment, I honor women that are living their life in the way that they choose. Ergo, my guest today, who is the beautiful and talented Becka Hays. 34-year-old Becka is an iHeart Morning on-air personality on Rock 106.7. She's host of the Good Girl podcast. She's a model, a dancer, and a raw, R-A-W capitalized artist. And now an OnlyFans phenomenon. I asked Becka to come on Make Him Wonder today to talk about living life in the spotlight as a single mom and about her experience with and decision to go on OnlyFans. Welcome, Becka.
Well, hi, Paula. It's so good to chat with you again. Glad to be back.
I'm so happy about this. And I want to honor your decision to do this and have this honest discussion because I think it can be so helpful for women of all ages and certainly in our climate today. So I really do honor that.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to talk about it, and I think it's definitely something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I agree. And I want to know more about that. But first, I want to get your take, and then I certainly have some information here on OnlyFans because many women are not familiar with OnlyFans, where I dare say there's not a man alive under the age of, maybe, I don't know, probably all ages, who doesn't know what OnlyFans is. So perhaps you describe it first and let us know what OnlyFans is for those who don't know what it is.
I just learned about OnlyFans probably about a month ago, and it was during a radio segment I was doing with my coworkers. Every morning we have to do morning prep for the show. And I work with two other guys, and we came across a story about a Disney star. I think she's about maybe 21, 22, pretty young, and she started an OnlyFans page. And within the first day of signing up, she made $1 million. So obviously it was something to talk about. And I thought to myself, oh, my gosh. I mean, it does help that she's famous. I won't lie about that, but I just thought it was interesting, and
she made $1 million in one day.
$1 million in one day.
Do you think that's real?
It's real. Oh yeah, it's real. And I mean, there was something like a couple days later. I think.
Who is she? We need to know, because if she's on there, everybody knows, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if her account's still activated because there was something along. She did something where she stopped posting, and it ended up turning not into a scam, but a lot of people wanted their money back because she stopped interacting with people. It's like she did it for almost the publicity.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we learned about that. We did a segment on that, and the guys kind of joked around with me. They're like, Becka, you should totally start OnlyFans page. Like, you love to post sexy photos. You're a sexy, sensual person, and you should just do it. You're like, why not make money from it, and then opposed to just posting the pictures and making no money from it.
So for those who don't understand how it works, so you're on Instagram, and then you have another Instagram page that is on OnlyFans? Like, how does it work for those who don't understand?
Okay, so OnlyFans is its own independent website. I believe it's owned by Pornhub. So it's kind of a branch off, and it's basically it's for your fans. So it's a private page where you have to actually subscribe. You have to pay money to view whatever videos or photos I post. The only thing that you can see is my bio, my main picture. That's all you could see. So it won't let you view it unless you actually subscribe. And it's like, for me, and you can make whatever amount you want. I just did a random stupid number. I did $13.57.
And that's per month?
That's per month. And yeah, so you subscribe, you have a whole month for that price. And I mean, I'm learning as I go, Paula. I mean, this is completely new to me, the whole concept of being sexy and getting paid for it, basically. So it's very new to me. You can tip on the photos, so depending on like how sexy you look, or maybe, I don't know, you're doing something funny they like. Like, my content is very, I want to say it's funny. I do a lot of funny content, but kind of like sexy funny, if that makes sense. I like more classy, sensual photos instead of just the straight up, like, you know. Can I say vagina on here? Vagina in your face, you know?
Right,
like the porn
right.
pictures. I don't. That's not my style. The great thing about this is all you. People that love you, that want, to follow you, that are true fans, they subscribe to you. This is your content. You make it whatever you want to. Now, I will do a warning. Obviously, there's, I don't know if there's women that follow me on OnlyFans. I don't know, because you don't have to put your real name, obviously. Some people do, some people don't. The thing that can be dangerous is people, obviously, they want more. They want more. They push for more. I just recently did a photo where I'm topless. And then it's like, oh, do a complete nude. Do a complete nude photo. Well, I don't think I ever even want to ever go down that road. That's my preference. Everybody's different. So I think you need to be careful. I think if you decide, especially if you're a newbie like me, if you decide to start something like this, or start showing off your body or whatever, realize that people are always going to want more. And you need to be comfortable in your own skin and comfortable with saying no, and comfortable, like, when it starts to get uncomfortable, that's when I'm like done. I'm not gonna go down that route, because I'm having fun. And the most important thing right now is me. Is I'm comfortable with my body. I love being sexy. I love being sensual. It makes me feel good. My confidence is up. I love taking photos, sexy photos, and it's a boost for me. And when it starts becoming about other people, that's when I think I need to reevaluate, regroup, recheck myself, and be like, hey, this is more of a chore now. This is more of like, I'm not even comfortable with this, but I feel pressured into taking a full nude, and I don't want that. And, and I'm confident enough to use the word no, which is very hard for me because I am a people pleaser. But I've learned to, throughout my lifetime and throughout my experiences, to be okay with saying that word. And, I tell people all the time, like, what, sorry, no. I'm not going to do that, and I'm comfortable enough to do that. I think it's very important if you, as a woman, to be able to, and the key word is able, to explore that sensual side of yourself if you want to. I don't want anybody telling me, no, you can't do that, which, of course that's going to happen. You always need to expect there's going to be criticism. Of course, people are going to say, oh, you're a mom of 2 little boys. How could you do that? How could you show your body off like that? Like, shaming me. I've gotten that. Not a lot of it yet, but I've gotten that. And, of course, I still have the ex-husband. I'm sure that's going to come up. And, yeah, I'm prepared for that. And I'm a very, just like you said, I'm a free thinker, and I stand up for what I feel, and I'm not going to let people pressure me or bully me. And if I want to do it, I should be able to do it.
Absolutely, and there's so much here I want to ask about. It's so fascinating to me, and I hope to our listeners as well. I'm sure it is. And you brought up a couple of points, and I didn't know if I heard you say something about husband. You are married or you're not? Just for our listeners' sake.
I'm not. Sorry, I said ex-husband, so I'm not married, but yeah. So I know I'm going to get flack for that because we do have a circle of friends that, report back to him. And I'm sure that will come up, and I'm prepared for it.
And so it has not yet. He does not know.
I'm pretty sure he does. He just hasn't confronted me about it.
Okay.
So.
Yes. And there's so much here in terms of I love that you give a warning. What do you feel, or maybe I should ask it this way: do you feel that, given that you are in the spotlight, that this is kind of goes along with the adage, there's no such thing as bad publicity, meaning it can only boost your profile and all that you are, and bring more listeners to your radio show, to your podcast, to all of it?
My thing is, when I first started this, obviously I was nervous. I was nervous because I am in the spotlight. Obviously people that know me are going to know about this. But then I thought to myself, here I am, on my podcast, empowering women and encouraging people to do and think on their own. But then I'm nervous, and and I'm going to cower and not be the person who I really am, and I really want to explore this side of me and not do it. That's hypocritical of me. And so I thought in the beginning, I was like, I'm going to go into this knowing that, and I'm going to be prepared, and I'm fine. I know that there's going to be some, in people's eyes. So I'll tell you this, Paula. My coworker the other day said to me, so do you realize that some men, not all men, but some men are going to think that you're undateable? And I said, yeah, I considered that. But here's what I have to say to that. The men that think I'm undateable, totally fine. You have a preference. You have free will. You have choice. Don't date me. But what I say to that is, good. I wouldn't want to date someone that's going to judge me because I'm exploring this sensual and sexual side of my side. I want a man that is confident enough, and a man knowing that I'm a free spirit, and knowing that he's going to allow me to do the things that I need to do and be comfortable and accept that and love me for who I am. Because this is who I am. This is a part of me that I'm finally, and I don't know if you knew that, but I grew up in a very religious home. I was LDS, which is Mormon, majority of my life. Just probably a few years ago is when I decided it wasn't, that type of religion wasn't for me anymore. And now I'm more of a free spirit, and I'm exploring a lot more things in my life. I'm going through a lot of transitions and change mentally and some physically. And I mean, not crazy physically. I'm just talking about the workout part. I'm not getting any surgery done. But, there's a lot of things that are happening in my life, all around the clock. And I think, going back to what my coworker said, good, weed them out. Weed out the men that can't handle this.
Okay. And for women listening, my listeners wanting that full commitment, I totally understand the thinking. I get it completely. And there is that, I think there is that feeling for all women. We want men to be able to handle who we are. And we want somebody who is that equal, so to speak, who is that strong. In our language, we would say it's strong, it's secure. He knows who he is. He can deal with us being the way we are. For anybody listening, because why I think it was such a great opportunity here for us to talk about it is because it is a huge debate, and I get it all the time on my end because I have, I'm quite a bit older, and of course I have been through all of that in my life and dealt with both the good side and the not so good side of it. And my platform in helping women get the commitment they want, of course, I discuss here what works best. Right? And yes, you're absolutely right. And that's what I'm here to say on this particular episode is every single woman, thank God, now has the right to do whatever she wishes to do vis-a-vis her body, sexuality, etc. And isn't that fantastic? Because heretofore in history, that wasn't the case. I mean, you could in the shadows possibly. I mean, let's think about really long time ago, you might have been burned at the stake, and then
right. I know
yeah.
I would have been.
Yeah. And then in the recent, much more recent history, it can be all manner of, just absolutely shunned by society. And, we think about women in the 1700s, 1800s, certainly in the from 1901 to 2000, that was the biggest time in history where things changed. And like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's time, from the 1930 till now, the changes that have helped us so greatly, but yet hurt us in a way vis-a-vis commitment for men. And what I mean by that is, I don't know if you know this about me, in full disclosure, how I work vis-a-vis Freud and his Madonna whore. He deemed it complex. I talk about it more under the realm of what they call now dichotomy, Madonna whore dichotomy, because that is absolutely part of the reptilian male brain. It's still there, hasn't changed. Just like for us, what we basically desire more than anything, and they did a huge study, huge number of men and women asked, what is it that above all, they asked women, you desire from men? What do you want? What's the number one thing? And without question, I think it was nearly like 90%, women say they want to be desired. That hasn't changed. And it will change. Because if we're female, that is what it is for us. That's just the female brain in that way. And for males, what it is, above all, hands down, was respected.
Yep.
It goes deeper than that, because for men, the male brain in a nanosecond decides when he sees a woman, he puts her in one of two of Freud's categories. That's just a given. Now, this happens at a seriously nonverbal reptilian brain level. And then, over top of that, of course, is society, how the man was brought up to a great degree, how religious stuff, dogma, all manner of things that are put into his young male brain. But fundamentally, it does not change. And yes, there will be men, for anyone who decides to do something a la what you're doing, there will be men that will be more willing to handle it, so to speak, right? That's when the guys are saying, renders you undateable. Well, first of all, yeah, there will be men that is, and you're saying, I get that. Very important that you get it, which you already do. Fantastic. And for any woman who's going to do it, you do need to get that. In other words, it takes some of your options away. Okay, but you're saying, I don't want those options anyway, right?
Nope.
Right. Now, here's the more salient point of it, is that I would dare say it's not going to take many options away in terms of dating you and certainly wanting to be with you. It's not going to take many options away at all, right? Could only
It's going to take the marriage option away.
There you go. There you go.
Of course.
And you know that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. And
some women don't, so how do you know it?
Okay, through experience. I was married for 7 years. I've done the dating scene for a lot of times. I've dated a lot of different types of men. And then I was married for 7 years. And so I've kind of been through the ringer, I guess, as you could say. But I finally, and this is how I get through it, Paula, I finally came to a point, and I'm still getting there. I don't think I'm like 100% fully there, but I have the mentality of I'm okay being alone. I'm okay taking care of myself. I'm okay knowing that, maybe I won't ever get married again. Maybe I will just always have some casual dates here and there and have fun here and there and have fun with my friends. And I think I finally am okay with that. And that took me a long time to even realize because I get lonely. I get lonely a lot. And a lot of times it's just the boys and my 2 little boys. And I want that companion. I'm not saying I don't ever want to get married, but I think it's a power within ourselves, and it's very powerful when you can say, I can take care of myself, and I don't need that person to validate me. I can validate myself, and it's a bonus if I have someone that comes along and not complete me. I don't ever want to say that. I used to say that, but not complete me, but add to this person who I am, bring something new to the table, and then we can grow together and enjoy being around each other. Like, it's a bonus in my eyes. And so I think I finally got comfortable saying that, and that's where I stand. And so when I say, it's going to take a very unique, not unique, I shouldn't say that. It's going to take a very confident man, a very loving, good heart man to want to be with someone as like me. And I've realized that. And then it's okay. It's okay if I never get married again. But it's nothing's off the table for me. I'm comfortable.
I really love that, because that's really what it takes for anyone to consider doing this, is that knowledge that just by what you said, I know it takes the marriage thing off the table for, I would say, at least 95% of men. And this is because not of their confidence level, not of any of that, but it is that reptilian brain, deep-seated Madonna whore thing that all men have, no matter their age, no matter their orientation, no matter any of it, and that you know that and are
Mhm.
okay with that, that's what really is the salient point here. Because
Well,
you're lucky in that you are able to take care of yourself with your two kids. You are that confident. You make a living. You're doing well. You're saying, if I never get married, that's okay. How wonderful, right? That
mhm.
that is the possibility. But for anybody out there who is saying, no, I want more than anything to have that in my life, knowing this and then making the choice is really what it's all about.
Yes.
It's
Well,
all
and
about
I
that.
think, and Paula, and what I said earlier about, um, I feel like so many, especially women, because you know that we lead with our emotions, and we're very
Mm-hmm.
emotional beings. I think we feel like we need a man in our life, and especially, I mean, how society has, brought us up, and especially if you're raised Christian or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
religion, everything has to do with this. I think we are in our minds, our thinking, we think that we need another mate to complete us, and I think that's where we're going down the wrong track. I don't think you need to complete yourself. You need to love yourself before you can even ever think of having a relationship. I mean, we can go down that road. That's another podcast, is learning how to love yourself, self-love. But it's
But it is
important
true.
to.
It's very, very
Mhm.
true. And without that part of it, and I actually work with that in my programs vis-a-vis, because women come to me wanting, if they come to me in my dating program for wanting to know how to really get good dates online. I have a program for that. I have a method, and it works seriously well. As a matter of fact, it's a game changer. But at the end of the
Mhm.
day, it is about this work, which is us transforming to get to a point whereby, yes, we do feel complete with or without, because that's
Mhm.
the key to being completely free. And that is the key to having a man be in the state of wondering and confident that he can be that man because you are complete in a way. It's very, very, it's science, it's art, it's so manner, and it's the journey. It is the journey for all of us. But
Mhm.
without the knowing, that's where I feel that many, many young women, 20s, 30s, are getting messed up because they don't
Yes.
know that fundamentally the male brain will be in this Freudian state, and that's it. And they must know and really know the consequences of the choices. Because
Mhm.
let me ask you something about like OnlyFans.
Mhm.
Those pictures, like we hear all the time, once a picture is up on the net, that forget it, it's there for eternity.
Yep.
Anybody can have
Mhm.
access. Is that going to be the case
Mhm.
with OnlyFans?
You
A
know,
paid
I
subscription? Yeah.
it, assume the worst. I think yes. I'm going to say yes. Do I know? No. It's a private it's a private website, but I mean, doesn't stop people from taking screenshots. It doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
then
There you go. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. Uh huh.
I think whenever you decide to do anything in life and go into it, always try to, positives and negatives.
Mhm.
What's the worst that could happen if I do this? What's
Mhm.
what's the best thing that I can, And so that's what I did, and yeah, and that could be out there forever. But again, I'm confident in myself.
Mhm.
I am a sensual, sexy person. And I'm a very open person. Like I just don't. I'm not very scared of nudity. It's
Mhm.
and like I said, for me, I do it more in a classier, funny way.
Mhm.
It's I feel like that has something to do with it, and who knows, I may only do this for a couple months, and I'm having fun right now. But the minute, and I'm gonna be the one that decides. The minute I don't really have fun with it, and it seems like more of a chore than having fun, or it seems like I'm really doing something I don't feel comfortable doing. the minute that starts to kick in, or I'm going to be done, and I can turn it off just like that. But yes, just like you said, it probably is going to stay out on the world wide net, and or it's probably going to be out there, and I'm okay. I know that's fine. It may come back and haunt me, bite me in the butt somehow, I'm sure, but I'll be okay.
Right.
It'll be fine. Like I said,
I think the danger comes with women who are not in a position like that. So, for example, a woman is, she's now in college, say, okay? She doesn't really know where her life is going to go. And she decides, hey, I can really be making some money. I can subsidize my entire education here. And she likely could. Well, being in the spotlight, being, say, like an on-air personality, or even the woman with Disney. I mean, I don't know what her situation with Disney is now, being that Disney is, quote unquote, wholesome, and the whole branding is let's be, the Little Mermaid. So the consequences can be significant for someone who is not going to be an influencer, an on-air personality, a model, an actress, a singer. If you want to be at a law firm, you see, it's very, very different, because every company that's hiring, goes onto the web to look for stuff. And that is so unfortunate and almost ugly. And I hate it.
It is. Yeah.
I hate it. It is just a reality.
It's a sucky reality.
It's a sucky reality, right?
Yes.
It's always, it's what's so sad about it, it's always hurting women. Yeah.
We're vulnerable.
Because, the fans, the people, the money, the money is coming on OnlyFans from who? From men. Men are subsidizing it. Men are paying to do it. Men are doing all manner of crap behind the scenes, and nobody cares.
Of course.
And it's the poor woman who's trying to subsidize her career to make it in whatever field it's in. It's really just a tragic fact, but we have to deal with what is, not what we would like.
Yeah, of course. Just to go back and talk about that college student, that let's just say that she's trying to earn some extra income, maybe even to pay herself through college, or pay her way through college. And this is an easy way. Let's just say she is comfortable with her body, because we don't want anybody doing something that they're not comfortable with. Let's say she's a sensual person like me. She's like, hey, I could be sexy and get paid for it. Why not? And she does this. Well, let's say her long-term goal is to be a lawyer, or somewhere that this stuff is frowned upon, like a doctor or something. And I think, sad to say this, but again, before you ever jump into anything, especially something like this that women get criticized for, look at the negatives and look at the positives. Be careful, because that, unfortunately, that may ruin her chances of becoming a lawyer, or whatever that area that she's looking into, that might ruin her chances, and which shouldn't be the case. But it sucks. It really sucks. And
it totally does. And it's really looking at short-term gain over long-term consequences. It's also, what is your ultimate goal? I mean, you have your children now, right? And you may not want any more children, or you're okay if you don't have more children.
Yeah.
But
I'm more so, I'm okay if I ended up meeting a gentleman that's never had kids, and he's, we really love each other, and he wants to have more kids, I'm willing to. I mean, it depends. If it's 5 years down the road, probably not. But it's in the next couple of years, maybe.
But here's for someone who is 24 or 25, and she's thinking, yeah, someday I'll be a mom. Well, here's the problem with that. We go back to the male brain. And that the man's comfort level, it's now called Madonna whore dichotomy. Hate the word, absolutely hate that it's called that. But remember, at the time when Freud qualified it for us, because he didn't invent it. This is something that it's a deep-brained thing in males that is normative for males. Because of, and then I take it that step further, why is it? I mean, how can it be that men do not commit out of love alone? Because they don't. Because it's the puppy principle. They love us all. They find something wonderful, sexy. I mean, it's for males, just the fact that you're female is on some level sexy to them, no matter what. So it is that he needs to feel that you are in the category of being wife and mother material. So for that young girl, I'm saying girl, 25, that young woman, that for her to know that these photos, whatever they are, will be out there for time in memoriam, and could be, that may keep her from an ultimate goal of being that wife and mother. Because here's the deal. You see, men do put us in that black and white of two categories, generally speaking. And of course, this isn't gross generalizations, but it's the fundamental difference between males and females. The black and white thinking of males in terms of this. It's good girl, bad girl, Madonna, whore, wife material, or fun. You see? That we can't get around that, unfortunately. So it's knowing your goal. It's knowing what it is that because women are everything and a bag of chips. Most women can be that nurturing, caring, loving, monogamous, and it's everything that quote unquote Madonna signifies or represents on the one hand, and they can be the sexiest, most adventurous woman on the other side of the scale, all wrapped up in one woman.
And that, exactly, like
everything.
That's the thing with men. See, it's like tunnel vision. They're just the minute they put you in that category, it's. I mean, I don't know if you ever can get out of the category with them, but it's hard to.
Very hard.
When a man puts you in that category, and it's frustrating because I am such a nurturing and loving mother, and my kids come first in my life, and I will jump out in front of that car to save. Anybody, my kids, my friends, whoever's in trouble. Like I have, and I know this about myself. I'm comfortable to say this about myself. I have a heart of gold, and I will do anything in my power, my will to help anyone out in any situation. But then I also know if I decide to commit to someone, I give them my all. Yep. And they are my only thing. But then I can still be me and my sexy side when I want to be and need to be. It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating, but it is, and this is what I work with women, because until you understand that we can't impugn men for being men. I used to be, when I was your age, and even older, I was seriously angry about it. It was like, how can it be that men do not see this, do not get it, that yes, you can be the sexiest thing alive and still be monogamous, exclusive, wife and mother material. It's just, we are not either or. It is their brain. It is not us. And that's the most frustrating thing. But we cannot deal with what would be better, what would be ideal, what makes most sense to us. We have to deal with what is with men, know what it is, and then do what we want to do, knowing the possibilities or excluding the possibilities. And I, the issue for women who are not going to be in the limelight, for example, you may go down the road and you're meeting other men potentially in the spotlight, who might be living in the spotlight as well, and who have an opportunity within their social group that it's going to be accepted that you do certain things to be continuing to make a living, to continue to push the envelope. This can happen in music, in the music industry, in show business, in modeling, in a number of different areas. But if you're in the middle of the country, or you're just living a quote-unquote normative, under-the-radar life, that the man, in terms of his abilities to step outside of his normal brain stuff, as well as being accepted into his milieu, it's going to be tougher.
Yeah.
A lot tougher.
Definitely. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's going to be harder, but I mean, and this obviously is whether you decide, example, to do OnlyFans or not, or explore your sensuality in a public way. I think going back to that, know yourself and and make yourself whole before you decide to even go out and try to date other people. And what that's going to do, and maybe that might change your mind. Maybe if you work on yourself before you decide to jump into this sexy way, maybe you need, sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just thinking while you were talking that, I see it on things like Instagram all the time. And what is so sad to me is that very young women, it's OnlyFans light in a way. They're doing everything but being topless or naked or whatever. The poses, the intent in the selfies, that in and of itself, which really what's unfortunate is that when I see it, it disheartens me because I know it's going to be so hard for them if they want commitment. And I once had one woman that I was talking to about it, and we were discussing
because they don't.
Kinds of selfies.
Because it's the puppy principle.
And,
they love us all.
I posed the question to her.
They find something wonderful, sexy. I mean, it's for males.
Really,
just the fact that you're female
because
is on some level sexy to them.
This was a beautiful
no matter
man
what.
wanting a boyfriend,
right?
And
so it is that he needs to feel that you are in the category of being wife and mother material. So for that young girl, I'm saying girl, 25, that young woman,
wanted her,
that for her to know that these photos, whatever they are, will be out there, for time in memoriam, and could be, that may keep her from an ultimate goal of being that wife and mother. Because here's the deal. You see, men do put us in that black and white of two categories, generally speaking. And of course, this isn't gross generalizations, but it's the fundamental difference between males and females. The black and white thinking of males in terms of this. It's good girl, bad girl, Madonna, whore, wife material, or fun. You see?
I guess, it depends on your goals. If you really want a boyfriend, if you really want
we can't get around that,
you're like, I just really
unfortunately. So it's knowing your goal, right? It's knowing what it is that you, because women are everything and a bag of chips. Most women can be that nurturing, caring, loving, monogamous, everything that quote-unquote Madonna signifies, right, or represents on the one hand. And they can be the sexiest, most adventurous woman on the other side of the scale, all wrapped up in one woman.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
And that's exactly like
everything.
That's the thing with men see it's like tunnel vision. They're just the minute they put you in that category. I don't know if you ever can get out of the category with them, but it's hard. Very hard. Man puts you in that category, and it's frustrating because I am such a nurturing and loving mother, and my kids come first in my life, and I will jump out in front of that car to save. Anybody, my kids, my friends, whoever's in trouble. Like I have, and I know this about myself. I'm comfortable to say this about myself. I have a heart of gold, and I will do anything in my power, my will to help anyone out in any situation. But then I also know if I decide to commit to someone, I give them my all, and they are my only thing. But then I can still be me and my sexy side when I want to be and need to be. It's so frustrating.
It is frustrating, but it is, and this is what I work with women, because until you understand that we can't impugn men for being men. I used to be, when I was your age, and even older, I was seriously angry about it. It was like, how can it be that men do not see this, do not get it? That, yes, you can be the sexiest thing alive and still be monogamous, exclusive,
that's so important,
wife and mother material.
Is that
it just, we are not either or. It is their brain. It is not us.
That are
and that's the most frustrating thing. But we cannot deal with what would be better, what would be ideal, what makes most sense to us. We have to deal with what is with men, know what it is, and then do what we want to do, knowing the possibilities or excluding the possibilities.
You see, for the man,
and the issue for women who are not going to be in the limelight. For example, you potentially may go down the road and you're meeting other men potentially in the spotlight, who might be living in the spotlight as well, and who have an opportunity within their social group that it's going to be accepted that you do certain things to be continuing to make a living, to continue to push the envelope. This can happen in music, in the music industry, in show business, in modeling, in a number of different areas. But if you're in the middle of the country, or you're just living a quote-unquote normative, under-the-radar life, that the man, in terms of his abilities to step outside of his normal brain stuff, as well as being accepted into his milieu, it's going to be tougher.
That puts you,
a lot tougher.
So saccharine in a way.
Definitely, I agree with you.
Male reptilian brain in the wrong category.
I feel like that it's going to be harder, but I mean, and this obviously is whether you decide, example, to do OnlyFans or not, or explore your sensuality in a public way. I think going back to that, know yourself and make yourself whole
into the first
before you decide to even go out and try to date other people. And what that's going to do, and maybe that might change your mind. Maybe if you work on yourself before you decide to jump into this
they pay me to help them do that.
Sexy way.
Let me tell you, it's a lot of work.
Maybe you need. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just thinking while you were talking that, I see it on things like Instagram all the time. And what is so sad to me is that very young women, it's OnlyFans light in a way. They're doing everything but
nurturing, wonderful,
being topless or naked or whatever. The poses, the intent, right, in the selfies.
In most
that in and of itself, which really what's unfortunate is that when I see it, it disheartens me because for them, because I know it's going to be so hard for them if they want commitment. And I once had one woman that I was talking to about it, and we were discussing those kinds of selfies. And, I posed the question to her, what is your intent here? And she said, well, I have to do it to compete.
And my mechanics of
no. And that really made me so sad because she wanted commitment. This was a beautiful girl wanting a boyfriend, and she was like at a loss as to why she wasn't getting, a committed relationship. And I could so clearly see the reason why. I mean, every manner of guy wanted her. And she would get, 3,000 likes on a picture. Of course.
And it's okay.
But nobody would take her on as they would get into a relationship and then just leave. Because it's about their confidence, right, in terms of, and it's not that they're insecure. Women think of that all the time. Well, he's just insecure. Nope. Not about that.
Material.
That's right.
Soft men.
That's it.
And I'm glad I'm glad you. Yes, and I'm glad there's two things that came in my mind. I'm glad that you brought up the Instagram thing. First of all, I guess, it depends on what are your goals. If you really want a boyfriend, if you really want to get married, if that's something that you just crave, you're like, I just really want this, then don't be the wild and crazy sexy woman. You can still, and I'll say this, you could still be sexy and take pictures with, fully clothed and look sexy and attractive.
Like that.
There's different types of all sexiness. It's what you like. So that's tough. It's like I said, mine's different. My goals are different. I have more of if I never get married again, I'm fine with that. That's not right in front of me. Mine is more career oriented. Mine's different. But I totally understand this type of women that you're talking about, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It's just our goals are different. I'm going to switch this up really quick. Another thing I wanted to talk about when you brought up the Instagram, Paula, is
makeup, no makeup.
What kind of was frustrating to me is you'll see a lot of these Instagram influencers or models or whatever.
I always say
they, you kind of touch base on this. They have all these pictures of them basically nude. I've even seen, completely topless, barely fuzzing out the nipple area on Instagram, and it's still acceptable, and that's okay. But if I start an OnlyFans page that basically looks just like that Instagram, if not more
and that's
classy and like
us.
Tactful, in my opinion, on some of the ones I've seen. It's frowned upon because I'm getting paid for that.
Be that where
in my eyes, in my mind, I'm thinking business. I'm businesswoman over here. I'm thinking, why the hell would I post these sexy photos for free? Are you kidding me? No, you're going to pay me if you want to see this. Like, yeah, it's frowned upon getting paid to look hot and sexy and, possibly nude. Like, it's so frustrating and it's so double standard. And so double standard. I'm telling you, these are... Yes, some of these accounts, it's totally acceptable because they're not getting paid for it by men. And it's fine.
Yep.
That's okay.
20-something now.
It is a terrible double standard. One thing I wanted to bring up while we're on the social media thing here that's so important is that, with this competing idea that I must take selfies that are me in my full makeup with my butt out and my boobs in full frontal position, and they're pseudo just cute but in a sexual kind of position almost. You know what I mean? That whole kind of, just butt out, head high and tilted back. And boobs forward, that you see for the man, and this is so important for women to get, that if it is your desire to potentially be marriage material, wife and mother, the idea for the man, just that you are trying and showing that to other men, is what will put you in the wrong category. You see, it's the selfie.
Really get to know who you are.
And I did a whole podcast on this. The idea of the selfie, because the woman is trying.
Know the positive and negatives before you make
do not
big move.
Desire when they're in the state of wanting to find someone for a committed relationship.
No way in hell would
it is because of my one of my fundamental sayings. What you do with him, he thinks you do with all men.
Because of the people that are
and when he sees that,
I've gotten rid of those toxic people.
That puts you, even though it's so saccharine in a way, it puts you in his male reptilian brain in the wrong category. And I would say that the vast majority of women in my program and what I work with is attempting to, because they've gotten in that category and then they've fallen for the guy and now they want him to commit.
Everybody has different personalities.
You've got a fundamental problem here, because getting into the first category when you've been in the second takes a great amount of work. Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I do it. Women, they pay me to help them do that, and we do. But let me tell you, it's a lot of work. A lot of commitment on the female's part, a lot of patience.
Yeah, live your life.
And we can eventually get there. And it's again, according to the particular man, how we do it. Not the woman, so to speak. Because it's, again, we are all of it. We are everything from the most nurturing, wonderful, woman like Mother Teresa, all the way on the scale to the sexiest vixen who could make a porn movie. It's just in most all of us as women. We run that gamut according to how we feel. According to how we feel about that man. According to how we feel about ourselves. A lot about our feelings. But we have to deal with what the man's brain is able to deal with. Very interesting point. Men don't do this in terms of or expect this of us, and you know my mechanics of men, that they don't ever expect us to kind of come out of our lane and know things that would be kind of, not typical for us to know, meaning about know how to take apart a car and put it back together. They don't expect that of us. They don't ever, if we don't know the car, they don't get upset with us about, why don't you know, why don't you understand how an engine works, blah, blah, blah. No. They respect us as women in that way, that it's okay that you don't know. You're a woman. I get that you don't know, and it's okay. I don't expect you to be interested in that. But we expect them to be everything, that their male brain should get how the car works, be the most stunning, ripped, athletic guy, and bring home the bacon, and do all of it, and then also be the most nurturing, wonderful, soft man that gets all about women's feelings. Well, good luck with that.
I'm like, okay, do what you want. So I think
good luck with that. Because it's not how they're made.
But I have a lot of
basically what you need to
follow.
Oh yes,
sure.
Yes,
yeah.
Basically, what women need to do: listen, go in the kitchen, put on an apron, hold a fresh baked pie, and post about that. Look at men lined up right there.
Because
you are a pretty wonderful puppy, just like that.
Listening platforms.
Men think all men. All you have to do is flick your hair, and he's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about being for the man to be wanting you as for exactly who you are. I mean, Chris Rock years ago did a riff on this. It was so funny because it's like, he's like, you girls are like, you think you have to do the hair right, you have to get the dress right, it's like all you have to do is show up. That's it.
Single woman,
just stand in front of us. We don't care what the hell, makeup, no makeup, hair done, no hair done. It's not about that at all for them. Just like, as I always say, just remember, ladies, every single puppy is cute to us, no matter what. Whether he's even that little hairless dog with a little tuft of like hair coming out of the top of his head, he's all skinny and no hair on him, even he's cute, right? They're all cute and wonderful to us, and that's how men view us. It's deciding, like we're talking about today, what do you want? Know your, be that worthy opponent. Be that worthy opponent. Yes. Mine's business. Mine is money driven. Mine is not catching a mate right now. And so for you women that are wanting to get married or wanting to get into a relationship, don't post the semi-nude pictures. Don't post the provocative pictures on your social media.
Oh yes, definitely.
I would add to that and think long term.
Thank you again.
Think when you are,
so I hope you enjoyed that.
If you're 20 something now, think of when you haven't found that mate when you're 40.
I really love
and you're wanting, or 30s, and you're wanting. It is not just about today, because things will live,
don't we?
For a long time.
However,
and you don't know what could come back to haunt you. The world can be a really cruel place. Anybody who's been on Instagram and gets comments knows this, right? Facebook, Instagram, any social media. Everybody knows that everybody's got an opinion, and nobody has a filter on themselves anymore to not voice that opinion. And they almost want to do, I don't think that's changed in human nature, but there are people out there who are happy to do you in. And
100%, yeah.
Right? It is truth. It's so sad. I mean, it's just, my God. It's really, it's a very sad fact, but it is a fact that, again, would be wonderful if it weren't, but we have to deal with what is.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, any other parting words of wisdom for younger women and your fans out there?
Again, We can't make things different.
Just my advice, and it's just kind of a little bit of a recap, so I know you touched base on all this, but really get to know who you are, know yourself. What are your goals? What are your long-term goals? Take everything in consideration. Know the positive and the negatives before you make any big move. This was a very big move of mine. That's just years ago, like a couple years ago, in a million years, I would be like, no way in hell would I ever be on an OnlyFans page. Now, I knew that I was a very sexy and sensual person, but there's no way, because of my religion that I grew up in and because of the people that were in my life, not so much anymore. I've gotten rid of those toxic people. But I was ashamed. I was worried what people would think of me. There was a lot of reasons. But it's there. I've come so far and I've grown so much just within the last couple of years of really getting to know my goals, who I am, what I want in life, and to be comfortable with just me. And I think, and I'm not saying every woman is different. Everybody has different personalities. Not people are, a lot of people don't have the same goals, and that's okay. Like, you need to be confident and comfortable in what you want, and don't let other people influence that or change that. Because when you start letting other people seep in and change you, be like, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to. Just do what you want to do. And realize there are consequences with whatever you do, but be prepared to accept them or, live your life. Live your life. Don't let other people live yours.
I thank you so much for doing this today. I think it's so informative for women. And where can they follow you, find you, listen to you? All of it.
Well, my name is Becka Hays. It's spelled a little differently. It's Becka, B-E-C-K-A, Hays, H-A-Y-S. You put me in the Google, I'm sure I'll pop right up. But you can find me on Facebook, Instagram as under Becka Hays. I'm on the morning show, Hooker, DB, and Becka. That's in Salt Lake City, Nashville, Memphis, Oklahoma as well. I'm kind of everywhere. Oh, The Good Girl, girl spelled G-U-R-L is my podcast.
Yes, I was on just recently. Thank you so much.
You were, and there was a lot of responses from Paula and I's podcast. Obviously we talked about some dating stuff, which was awesome.
But I said I was on like too much coffee or something that day. I just talked and talked and talked.
No, I loved it. That was my goal. I wanted you just to basically talk. I mean, Kara was on there with us. She fell in love with you. I mean, literally, like she had notes. It was crazy. But yeah, she bought your book.
For very young,
Why won't he commit?
Why won't he commit? She bought that book, and she's reading it right now and loves it. And I'm pretty much everywhere. I'm sure OnlyFans now. There you go. If you want to see that content.
Do you have women?
I don't. Not that I know of, but you know what? I have inspired. Actually, I can tell you right now, 10 women right now that are starting an OnlyFans. They're like, you know what? I have the same goals as you, Becka. I'm going to the same places as you, and I don't care. They have the honey badger effect where they just don't give a F. So they're just like, yeah, why not do it? And so I'm like, okay, do what you want. And so I think they some of them followed me to get some ideas, but I have a lot of anonymous followers. They don't give me a name.
Sure.
Yeah. So. I don't know. I'm not. I think obviously probably 90%, 99% of it is men.
Yes.
So,
The Good Girl podcast, I assume got a lot of it. So it's The Good Girl. So it's G-U-R-L. That's everywhere, on listening platforms. And that's, you talk about your life. You talk about everything there, right? I mean, what's the gist or the main bent of your podcast?
It started off about my life, and it still is. Like, I'll talk about like things that I'm, that I'm up to, that I'm doing. I live a very unique life. I'm kind of all over the place, and the mom with 2 young kids, and then also the career woman, and then the single woman that tries to have a single life. So you're getting all aspects of life. from my perspective, and I talk about that. I just recently I started kind of like venturing off. You and I did a podcast, and I'm getting ready to go podcast with another podcast in just a couple hours, and I'm venturing a little bit, and a lot of it's about my crazy experiences, and we talk about just random stuff. There's nothing that we don't talk about. Like, it's all open, very open conversation. So, yeah.
Well, again, I thank you so much for taking your time to do this today. And please, for everybody, check out The Good Girl. Check out Hooker, DB, and Becca on 106.7 in the mornings. And just be in touch with us about all the interesting things that you are doing. Let's check in from time to time, because I think everybody here would want to know how it's going, and especially maybe about your dating life, and if there is a special man.
You may see a Ferrari.
Oh yes, definitely. I will keep in touch, Paula. You bet.
That's cool. Great. Thank you again. So thanks, Becca. I'm going to do a little outro thing, and then I really appreciate you taking the time. I think it's going to be really informative and really good. I really do appreciate it, sincerely.
Awesome. Well, that makes me happy. If the sound quality sucks, you let me know. We can redo it, okay? From now on, I could probably, I could probably download that on my computer, and from now on, if we chat, we can do it through the mic.
Yeah. That would be great. Okay, good. Well, thanks, and yes, let's stay in touch. Is there anybody special now? Are you? Whatever happened with your?
Okay, so this is why I've been kind of keeping quiet on that. Well, okay, so he came back in the picture for a little bit. I mean, he still is, but he wants to get married. He asks me like every day, I want to get married, and as far as I know, it sucks. But the thing is, Paula,
it sucks because you don't want to.
I don't. No, he's not. In my mind, and you'll understand this. He's not masculine for me. He's not that. I want someone that can protect me. I'm going to need a certain type of man. Like my personality. Like I need someone to match me, and he doesn't match me. I don't want to sound. I don't know what the word. I guess an asshole. He's under me, if that makes sense. He can't.
Okay. Even if it's not revealing.
You know what I mean? I'm attracted to someone that's masculine, someone that has a good heart. He has a good heart, but someone that can put me in my place. I'm going to need that. I need that.
And bulldozing him, you're much stronger.
He loves it.
Oh, yes. And I want someone to match me. That's what I want. I want to meet my match. And I've broken up with him. Like, oh my gosh, it's just such a toxic relationship. I know it 100%. But it's pretty. And I break up with him, and then the next day, it's like I see him again. It's just like I can't get rid of him. But he's so. I have a hard time hurting people. Like that's just me. I have a hard time. It kills me, and so I'm allowing this toxic relationship. But I will say this: I know this is more of a coward approach. He's getting a. I don't know if you're familiar with Park City, Utah. It's about 45 minutes from where I live.
Very
okay,
familiar.
You know where it's at. Yeah, he just got hired at, he's going to be a manager over dermatology / med spa.
Nice.
And he's going to manage that. Well, that's going to take a lot of time. And he's going to have to move to Park City. There's no way that we're going to be able to see each other. So I feel like it's like 45 minutes to an hour, and that's without traffic. So there's no way that we're going to be able to spend the time together as like we have been. And I feel like that's going to be my fade off. And I know it's a bad approach, but I'm kind of doing that. I'm just going to let it fade off, and he starts that in a week. So I think that's when I'm just going to. And Paula, it's not that I'm not being honest with him. I tell him all the time, no, I don't want to get married to you. Like
that's just like catnip.
With him.
That's catnip.
Oh yeah. But he doesn't believe me because I still allow him to come back.
Of course, because remember, it's not what you say; it's what you do.
Caring for them,
exactly. And I don't have the heart to be mean to him and say I don't like you.
Well, I guess I'd only leave you with one question: is that sometimes you've heard this song. You have to be cruel to be kind. And is it really what's hurting him more?
The male brain.
Oh, this for sure. I know.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So maybe the mom in you can say, I wouldn't want my son to be going through this.
In a way.
To put it that way.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't want my son to be dealing with this, and it is always been like now that you're going. Let's make a clean break here, and then it's really for you, not reaching out, not checking on him, not doing anything. He needs to go on his way, right? And for him to heal, he must there must be that no contact, because you will be pulled back.
A badge, so to speak,
because you're being nice, and if he wants to reach out. But I always say, we hurt ourselves and sometimes other with 3 little words. We're too nice.
And
we hurt ourselves and other people who love us many times because we are. And we do many times have to be cruel to be kind. And it's okay. It's not really cruel. It's kind. And again, just think of how you would want your son to be treated by a woman that he's hopelessly in love with, and it's never going to be that for her.
I always say to women.
Yeah.
Because as long as he thinks there's a chance with you, he won't move on.
Likes.
Well, and I think about how if there was a man I'm just not that into you, but we can keep kind of dating, unless I'm obviously on his same page, I'd be like, F you, we're done.
Yes, but
because I
respect
myself.
Men don't do that.
Yeah.
Because that is, that's catnip to them. And they don't, that is, that if he just proves himself more and more and more, and again, it's not what you say, it's what you do. So all he knows, because I would say, if you're staying, no matter what you're saying, you are okaying the relationship as it is. So you're staying. And that's what he knows. And even with the back and forth, he knows by history that he can get you back.
You have that someone.
Yeah.
So it has to change up, and it could be likely that it won't change until there's somebody else for you, but that'll even feel worse for you.
I want you to.
I don't want to. I mean, that was my old pattern. I was really bad. I would jump from
pattern.
Yeah, I would jump from relationship to relationship, and I don't want that anymore. I really do just want to be single, but I just. I mean, I don't want to be single, but I want to have space. I want to. One time in my life, I just want to have space before I get into another relationship.
And that's the healthiest thing to do. And when we find out most about ourselves in those alone times, that's for sure.
And I feel like right now, I'm just like, I just want to focus on my career, and I don't want to have, And I, like I said, I'm not opposed. Not like going out and maybe going on dates and stuff, but it's not my focus. It's not in the front of my head at all.
Yeah. So. Well, good luck with him, and if ever I can be of help, let me know. And I look forward to talking to Kara, and maybe she'll even want to do a podcast or something. She's
she would love to.
What is Raw? That's something that she's involved with.
To fix, so to speak.
Oh, Kara?
So that
so that was just she's just raw. She's just raw as a person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I did.
That she wants something to promote or something like that.
No. She does have a business. She has a med spa in Florida. I don't know, maybe you can do that, because you could promote it that way, where she, she's just a great business owner. She's just awesome. But yeah, Raw was something I performed at. It's called Raw Artists. I danced at. And Karen the Raw, we just said that because she's just raw. She's very
she's very
open.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to her. I think she said she wanted to read the book, and then she would reach out. Yeah, because I really love her. She does want to get married, right? And have a child.
Oh, she wants to. Oh yeah, so badly. She wants to have a relationship, and I'm just Paula. It's hard with especially. So we're we're new friends,
so
but we're the type of people we just hit it off. Like, we just knew.
Nice.
Like, our personalities are like, oh, I already love you, you know? And
the consequences.
Just seeing how
she's ready for life.
Because she does have a guy in her life. It's kind of intermittent. Like, whenever he's ready, then they see each other. It's definitely one-sided, and I can see all this as an outsider. I can see that he's totally not a buyer.
Right.
Completely not. Especially with the things that she's done with him.
Right.
She's giving him mixed signals. She's not showing him that she's wifey material at all.
This time today to do
but she doesn't realize that.
Right.
She has no excuse my language, but you just look like a hoe to him.
Doing something
you know, and it's sad because I know the type of person she is, and I know that, you know, if she'll commit to him like she would, and it's sad because I see her.
Well, we can make that happen if she commits to doing it.
Who's making,
you know, and that's what the program does for women, is that taking that, turning it around, because it's amazing how it's so formulaic. I mean, if I could just tell you how many women that think that can never happen, and we work and they commit to it, and it certainly does.
And do you teach self-respect in there? Because I feel like a lot of these women don't have respect for themselves.
It's not, what happens is through it, because you can't teach self-respect. What you can do is you can work behaviorally so that women act in a way that prompts other people to treat them as such, and then they're building up their self-respect.
The world is a harsh place.
I swear, I'm like the man in the relationship.
But that could be for you. That could just be that it's a safer, so that you don't get hurt. Sometimes,
you
know,
that's what it is.
Yeah. Because
I act like the woman. I have the emotion. I mean, my emotions are nuts. Like, they're crazy, strong. But sometimes I'm like, oh, you're not gonna. If you cancel, you cancel on me the first date, we're done. Like. And I know some women are like, oh, okay, we can go out again. I'm like, no, sorry. Like, I'm like a one-flag policy girl lately. And I've never had a problem dating guys. But I think toxic relationships are easy. It's the committal ones. Yeah, it's the committal ones that take work, and I'm not, and I'm like, oh, I'll just run through a bunch of toxic ones, and that satisfies me for a moment.
Right. Absolutely. Well, again, so great to talk to you, and let me know if I can ever, be of help, and good luck with this, and hopefully, this move will prompt a change for you. That would be a good time to do it. Yes, I hope I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
Hey, thanks, Paul. I do. It's always a good time talking with you, and you let me know if you ever do. Okay.
Thank you so much. Yes, I may be thinking about doing a. Would you ever consider I don't know how many female followers you have, but would you ever consider doing a paid? What are they called? What's it called? Giveaways.
We've been given sexual freedom.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We had done before.
Okay, that might be something that I want to do coming up here to get followers to get for my YouTube, my Instagram, that whole thing. So
yeah, we'll figure something out. I mean, I have I started with. I was in the makeup business and stuff like that, so I do have a lot of women that follow me.
Oh, wonderful.
Still. So I still have that audience. I mean, it's starting to transition to men. You know why?
Sure, of course. Yeah, right. Of course. Yeah.
But yeah, I still have a lot of women that follow me and listen to the podcast and all that.
And we have.
Do you have women in the Christian space? Like you said, you were LDS, right?
Yeah, I still I do.
We do
that's great.
Yeah,
those are my kind of, those are my really good, because they're the ones wanting commitment, wanting to get married.
Oh yeah, I do have a lot of listeners that are like that. Yes.
Cool. All right, then I will definitely think about that and reach out to you via email, and then you can come back to me with what you charge, how you like to go about it, that kind of thing.
Yeah, whatever you like to do, let me know.
Okay, cool. All right, great. Thank you.
All right, talk to you later.
Take care. Okay, bye.
iHeart.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
And on her Instagram, It is Becka, Becka, and then Hays. I hope to be talking to her again. And in the meantime, make sure to connect with me here. You want to be a guest on the podcast? Go to realcoachingconversations.com. Follow me on Instagram, Coach Paula Grooms, and make sure to catch my videos on YouTube, Coach Paula Grooms. A lot more content there. Sometimes I put, before they come out, clips and parts of these podcasts on there. And also on Instagram, you get a lot more of my quotes, which you can more easily keep in your mind because I try to make them quippy or rhyme so that you can have it in the forefront of your mind. In the meantime, make sure for any man in your life that you are making him wonder.
Thank you for listening to Make Him Wonder. If you've benefited from today's conversation, please subscribe and share. Connect with Coach Paula at makehimwonder.com. There you can take several relationship evaluations, discover her books and other resources, and find out if one of her personalized coaching programs might be right for you.